The Cryptonaut Podcast is brought to you by Cryptid Crate. Cryptid Crate is a monthly subscription box filled with various cryptozoology and paranormal-themed items to wear, display, and collect. Each month, you can expect a carefully curated box filled with creeptastic pieces from indie makers and artisans pertaining to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs, ghosts, and other cryptid and mysterious creatures. At checkout, be sure to use our promo code, that's Grampus, GRAMPUS, for 10% off the entire life of your Cryptid Crate subscription. We have some new products for sale in our Big Cartel shop. The link for that will be in the show notes of this episode. We got beer koozies, and we want to give a very big thank you to our good listener, Laura Cram, and her husband, Dave. Dave printed these up for us, so thank you both very much. And because of you two, our good listeners, now we have beer koozies for everybody. So again, that is in the Big Cartel shop. The link will be in the show notes of this podcast. Check that out. Order yourself some. We also have some stickers and pins. So you got stickers, you got pins, you got koozies. Basically, you get all around the super promo. You can get your Cryptonaut shirt, you can get your hoodie, you can put your pins on, slap your stickers in your car, drink some cold beers. You got the koozie. I mean, we are just literally marketing everything we can. I was recently looking at pop sockets. I'm not sure if you guys know what those things are. I did actually discuss this with some young people to see if these things are cool or not, and apparently they are the quote-unquote hot shit. So, but unfortunately, pop sockets are too expensive for us to make, and we have a couple of other things that we are working on. That is my weekly vague comment for upcoming projects that we will hopefully soon be releasing. So yeah, beer koozies. Everybody come drink with us, man. Everybody says they want to drink with us, so now you can sort of, if you're sitting in your basement like I do for 2 to 3 hours at a time in the dark, drinking beer and watching conspiracy videos on YouTube, as you want to do on a Monday night. You can do that now, and we can keep your beer cold with a koozie with a picture of us on there. So there you go. Be sure to check that out. And again, the link for the Big Cartel shop will be in the show notes of this podcast. Get yourself something nice. I know it's Christmas time, but you know what? Don't worry about buying presents for other people, man. Buy something for yourself. Like, you deserve it. It's been a long year for everybody. I don't know about you guys, but this year has been a super pain in the ass. And you know what? I'm ready to buy myself some nice shit, drink my way through Christmas, continue to drink my way through the new year, and then watch some more conspiracy videos, and I'm going to have this nice koozie to keep my beer nice and frosty. So there you have it. All right, it is about that time. So without further ado, Christopher, cue that creepy music. Hello and welcome to the Cryptonaut Podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me as always is...
I'm Chris Conselli.
And...
Rob Morphy.
Thank you for joining us as always. The social medias, the Insta, the Twitter, the Facebook.
Do it all.
We're there, we're hanging out. Come say hi. Be sure to leave us a rating and review on the iTunes and the Apple Podcast apps. It helps us out greatly.
In what way?
We just reached our 200 mark for
no
ratings and reviews.
Shit.
Yeah, so, thank you all very much.
There's so much.
That's awesome. So before we get started with this week's episode, we got a quick announcement here. Our buddy Nick Littlefield, he is on Instagram as I Really Love Pixels. He just sent me the images for the 3D printed space brains of Palos Verde.
Oh, that's dope as fuck.
And they have 360-degree articulated legs.
Yeah, they're cool.
Little
Sweet
tiny
little space
tiny
brain,
crazy
tendril legs.
Yes.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, it's super
And
dope.
the packaging, tits up.
It
Yeah.
looks so good.
Fucking nice design, dude.
Also, too, it comes with a really cool sticker.
Really?
Yeah, mine's going to be here this week, so I can't wait.
I can't wait to
I'm
dig
super
on
excited. So we kind of had like a little, he had sent me a couple of the photos, and I immediately was just blown away. I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Like, let's put these up. And we got like a little partnership with them where we got a promo code for our listeners. So the promo code for Nick Littlefield's Etsy shop is Hammer Pants, and that will get you 20% off your order until the end of December.
I love that.
Nice.
Hammer Pants, HAMMERPANTS, as in the pants you will wear if you were MC Hammer.
Yes, of course.
The Hammer Pants.
Yeah, or a fan.
Yep, or a fan. That's true. So, or if you were a Loveland frog, yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you very much, Nick. It's awesome. I'm super excited to get mine in the mail. Definitely check our Insta because we're going to put that up there when those happen. So let's get started this week with the Felixstowe Fire Demon.
You know what?
We normally take the demon off the table.
I'm going to go on a limb and say,
Do we?
when I first read this encounter, this was my best guesstimation. And sometimes I try to be clever when I name things. Sometimes, obviously, if an entity, a being, a creature has a name already established, I'll always go for that. This one didn't happen to, but it's referred to as a demon a lot. So the listeners will understand soon enough why that creative hurdle was jumped. But I can't say definitively, and I won't say definitively, that it is a demon. It's just...
Yeah, sure.
it falls maybe into the parameters that some might assume demonical things might.
And we are known for not taking demon off the table. So let's get started with, on an autumn evening in 1965, a group of British youths were cruising the town when one of them had a terrifying encounter with a non-flame retardant fiend that would leave him scarred for life.
As these things are wont to do.
Not
Robert.
10 minutes.
No.
Not a month.
Temporary? Nah.
Permanently. Robert, take it away, dude.
Debilitating? I'm not sure. For life? Yes.
Totally.
As often, I'm just going to paint a little picture of the geography for the good folks out there.
All right.
We're going to move on to the good stuff. Felixstowe is a port town nestled on the North Sea coast of Suffolk, England. The bustling hub offers a plethora of fascinating sights, but none so strange as one seen by a trio of friends who were joyriding through the town on their way toward Essex at approximately 10:30 p.m. on the evening of September 20th, 1965. This brings us back to like the great Austin Power days of supermod.
Oh, yeah.
The hippie movement just
There you
starting.
go.
Swing in England.
Yeah, you got
Swing
some
in London specifically. I'm
sweet
not sure the rest of it
cars,
did it. Big
awesome
fucking sweet
boots.
cars.
Yeah.
Boobs a-flying.
Oh, jeez.
boots a-flying.
Boobs.
Boobs.
Oh, Bill and boobs. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gold boots. Boobs a-flying.
And boobs.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Everything was flying.
All right.
It was psychedelic. It was wonderful.
Awesome.
And these people, being young, were clearly in the center of it. Or not. Because I really don't know if the North Sea coast of Suffolk, England, was the hip hopinest.
They're just not there in the cool section.
They might have been like wearing fisherman sweaters and been
Yeah.
completely removed from this. We
They're
don't
like-
know. But let's just assume that they're just living the life.
They're like us in Auburn when everyone thinks that we live in New York City, but we actually
do
live
not.
4 hours in the middle of nowhere.
Yes,
Awesome.
exactly. The group, which I'm really hoping had a lot of fun back then, consisted of driver 25-year-old Jeffrey Maskey and his passengers Mavis Fordyce and Michael Johnson.
Gee, Mavis Fordyce.
Oh, that's a great
Fordyce is
name.
dope.
It really
Damn.
is. First off, she should be like a detective novelist or writing political thrillers. Secondly,
Jesus.
Mavis.
Yeah.
That's hard and fucking
Yeah.
antiquated all at
Yeah.
once. In what must have been an effort to preserve gas or perhaps indulge in ill-advised mid-drive libation breaks, Maskey pulled over to the curb next to a hedgerow on an isolated, tree-lined Walton Avenue.
Talking about road sodas?
That's what I'm talking
You're
about.
talking about
Road
driving your car and then
sodas.
cracking a beer?
I'm talking about bad decisions by young people.
Okay.
Live long, protect yourself, protect the other drivers on the road, do the right thing, drink with us.
All right.
There
you go.
Yeah.
The youngsters were engaged in lively conversation when Johnson, that's Michael Johnson, abruptly opened the car door and walked out into the murky night. Mavis and Jeff exchanged perplexed glances as their cohort vanished into the Stygian blackness, but simply assumed that he must be answering nature's call. That's what you do. When and plus, all right, let's be honest, 2 guys, 1 girl, unless they're just wide open and having fun, and I'm not here to judge the context of their 1965 relationship, but probably one of them's a third wheel.
It seems that
Could
way,
be.
possibly.
And so
Yeah.
if a guy randomly splits you, like, is Mike just mad? Does Mike like Mavis more than Jeff?
Yeah,
We don't
it's
know.
weird.
We can surmise
And there was
things.
no phones. You couldn't text each other to
No.
figure it out behind, the...
No social media where the
Yeah.
patina of said relationship would have been
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
since
No, you're just going off of
put out.
instincts.
Yep.
It's pure
Pure
instincts.
60s instincts. And their instincts say, Mike's got to pee.
Good for Mike. Sometimes you got to pee. Break the
Absolutely.
seal.
Just moments after Michael disappeared behind the shrubbery, skirting the woods, Jeff and Mavis heard what they described as a high-pitched humming sound. And that's when things started to get fucking weird.
We have a lot of instances where there's a weird sound
Yeah,
or a high pitch humming, and all of a sudden, shit goes downhill.
Well,
Yeah.
not to digress, Chris and I know we've talked about this before, heard
Jesus.
a high-pitched weird humming sound when we were outside of his old apartment.
Dude, that was fucked up.
And it's haunting because you are really half sure something paranormal is about to unfold completely. When it's just this
you can't
overbearing...
pinpoint it.
Exactly.
And there's certain directions where it's really there, and then all of a sudden it's like not, and you're like, what the
You take
fuck?
one step and it's gone. You back up 3 inches. It's loud and clear.
Dude.
It's fucking weird. Now, not to overhype our audience, it ended up being having a pedestrian explanation.
It did.
We
Was
got
it
through
a
it.
miniature Cthulhu?
It was a mini Cthulhu. Yep.
Cool.
We dealt with
Sweet.
it. Put it in a jar. Never thought of it again.
Yeah, no, it's buried somewhere.
But yes, weird high-pitched sounds or low, ominous, bassy hums.
Yeah,
no, weird.
Almost always a harbinger of bad shit. Or at least things that are going to be fucking befuddling.
Yeah.
The annoying sound began to increase in volume until it overwhelmed the duo. Mavis anxiously watched while Jeff unrolled the car window and leaned out in an attempt to ascertain the origin of the now alarming noise. It was then that Jeff spied an egg-shaped orange object suspended in the sky approximately 90 feet above his car. Now, that's one of those things where you're like, if you want to guess it's about 100 feet up,
Right.
do it.
90?
When you're guessing I'd say that's 90 feet above my car.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a little leery on it.
Is it the hubris of measurement?
It sure is.
All right. just
And maybe the
making sure.
Brits are better at it. And I'm sure they didn't measure it in feet. I'm sure it was something metric
Yeah, I
and
was
then
gonna
it
say,
got
'cause
translated.
Don't we work on the feet scale? Isn't that what we do, Robert?
That's what we do.
We got the inches and the feet and the 16ths and the eighths
God bless America.
in our stupid unit of measurement.
Regardless of how high it is, it's just hovering above the car. He estimated, further showing the hubris of measurement, that the UFO was about 6 feet wide, and both he and Mavis claimed that it was glowing so brightly it bathed the surrounding countryside in its eerie fire-like glow. So regardless of whether or not this thing was 90 feet up and 6 feet wide or 75 feet and 8 foot
Yeah,
wide, we don't know.
Right.
But a fucking orange glowing egg that's so bright that all the woods around it in the street are lit up, worthy of note regardless.
Yes.
So we'll
should
take
make-
that as
you
something
should-
worth tripping on.
You should make note of that in your journal.
Absolutely. Without warning, the humming object shot away from the vehicle and vanished beyond the trees. Which trees, you may ask?
Which
The
trees?
trees
Robert?
wherein Michael disappeared. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson.
Whoa.
The pair.
Zip it up, dude.
The pair stared at each other in silent astonishment when it suddenly dawned on them that their friend was not only still in the woods, but he might no longer be alone. That's a little
Not
thing.
what you want to see.
It's a little thing
or
called,
hear.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
All
The
right.
apprehensive duo, neither one excited about the prospect of entering the shadow-shrouded forest wherein the UFO and their friend were lurking, remained in the car and began shouting
Oh god.
for Johnson to no avail. So, that's just the height of courage. Yo, Mike! Mike, stop fucking around! Stop fucking around!
I mean, I guess actually, though, it's not a... I could see someone doing that. Fuck, you jump in the car and you're just like, you start screaming for him to get in. Because you obviously don't want to be out there with whatever it is.
No, the UFO is going to startle you.
Well, yeah, totally.
And it flies over the fucking trees, and Mike's in the trees.
Toward Mike.
Toward
Ish.
Mike, yeah.
But you think you jump out and at least start shouting? I mean, maybe you
We
stay in
all
the car.
think that, man, but would we really do it, or would we just jump in the car and start screaming for Mike?
You're right.
Unfortunately, man, instincts kick in, dude.
Jeff decided to take the matter into his own hands. Clearly, the shouting wasn't enough. So he threw the vehicle in reverse and continued to shout in vain
Just
for his
rolling?
missing camera. So instead of just
Wait,
standing where
what?
he was, he started the car, or it was still probably running, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Put it in reverse, backed up closer to where Mike got out of the car, and continued to
okay.
fucking shout. So no one was getting out of the fucking car at this point.
All right.
Suddenly, Michael burst out of the woods and staggered into the road with a dazed expression adorning his face.
See.
Jeff hoped that he was just having a go at them, a prank. But as soon as his friend collapsed in the middle of the street, he knew that this was no laughing matter. Still frightened, Jeff and Mavis wasted no time in finally exiting the vehicle and running to their friend's aid. They found Michael laying motionless on the asphalt, at this point totally unconscious. When they realized that they could not wake their friend, the pair hefted the inert Johnson and dragged him back into the car. Mavis hopped in the back seat and did her best to make the still unconscious Michael as comfortable as possible, while a nearly panicked Jeff hopped behind the wheel and sped away from the forbidding forest and the strange orange light, making a beeline toward the relatively small but conveniently close Felixstowe Hospital.
Well, at least there's a hospital nearby.
Thank the baby.
Yeah, geez,
Conveniently.
totally.
Yeah, I know. Conveniently close.
Actually, that is awfully
Yeah,
convenient.
who built said hospital and for what purposes?
Yeah.
The
and
sick?
roof.
was the hospital built upon? Oh, ooh.
None of that's going to be the case.
Okay.
But I love
Or
these
will
theories.
it?
Well, we don't know until the end.
Fire demon built on the bones of the innocent, the hospital.
Oh, nailed
go.
it. Oh, my God, it's a curse. Save it. Save it for the end.
The bones of the innocent.
Yeah, the worst bones of all.
Fire demon summoned by the bones of the
I'm sure
innocent. Is that
guilty
what you just
people
said?
have died
Dude,
at
bones
the
of the
hospital.
innocent.
This is the first time we don't even need to finish the story.
There you go.
Solution found. Mark's doors.
bones of
Full
the
credit.
innocent.
There it is.
Once at the hospital, Michael began to regain consciousness, but much to Jeff and Mavis's dismay, he was suffering from amnesia and could not recognize the friends who had rescued him. Yeah.
You know.
That's some fucked up 80s sitcom shit right there.
It is, yeah. That's like Uncle Jesse's type shit.
The doctors on duty at the hospital diagnosed Johnson as having succumbed to an unknown but clearly serious shock. That's the only thing that causes spontaneous fucking amnesia. We know that. We know that from different strokes. We know that from a whole childhood of watching fucking illy reported scientific and medical phenomenon on television.
That's true.
Didn't it happen to like JR or something in Dallas? No. Who killed JR?
Oh, God. It happened to everyone all the time.
Didn't everybody
period.
always get
Gilligan every
amnesia?
other episode.
Oh, yeah. That's
Have
true.
any of us ever suffered amnesia?
I don't think so.
No.
And here's the thing. I used to think amnesia was always caused by a plummeting coconut, say, or
Yeah.
a falling hammer,
Well, yeah.
or a piece of wood.
A
Anytime
bop
you got
to the head.
a bop in the head and
Yeah.
you suddenly, but you didn't forget, like you could still speak English, you still had a vague idea that you were a man and you lived in America
yeah,
or
you
whatever it
knew
was.
stuff like that,
But you just
right.
didn't know anyone around you and it was never permanent.
So it's like it's just like traumatic brain injuries.
Except it was partial, well, not even partial, temporary traumatic brain
Right.
injury.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
It's a blanket term for just for. I mean, you can
you
forget
know what it is.
long-term stuff and no short-term stuff. It's the same
in
thing.
real life diagnosable
Yeah,
amnesia.
yeah.
We're talking fucking TV. We're talking network amnesia.
You
now.
call it
yeah.
amnesia. I call it overboard. One of my favorite
Oh,
movies is
shit.
Mr. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
No, it is. Well, all right, if you say both of them.
Yeah,
'Cause
we'll put
that's-
them together. Yeah.
Besides that more recent cocksucking Santa Claus movie, I can't think of any other two movies they were in together. And if that's the case, Overboard wins.
Overboard.
But if
always
you're going to
wins.
say it's one of your favorite Kurt Russell
Jesus.
films, that's a friendship straining statement.
Oh
I'm just saying.
no! There's we have three Snake Plissken movies, right? Or is
No,
it
no,
two?
two.
there's
And technically
no,
one.
Okay,
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
There-
you're correct.
there's
okay, we're
one.
gonna get back to Kurt Russell at a later
And Big
date.
Trouble in Little China.
I love that movie too, but
All right. So amnesia is not what TV taught us amnesia is.
okay.
But he has it. Mike is suffering from amnesia, and Mavis and Jeff are all the more perturbed because they saw a UFO, their friend collapses in a heap, they
Yep.
rush him to the nearby,
And now he doesn't know.
conveniently closed hospital. He has no idea who the fuck they are. The conspiracy thickens. Yeah. Okay. The doctors at said conveniently closed hospital also noted that Michael had unusual burn marks on the back of his neck as well as a contusion above his right ear. Now, I don't know how this goes, but I really think a lot of abduction scenarios have implants behind the ear and also in the base of
Or
the
somewhere,
neck, the
yeah,
base
somewhere
of
in
the
the skin.
skull.
Yeah, they have like a chip implanted into them.
So it's
or
sort
something.
of weird, a burn, and I mean I know I'm just grasping at straws. I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything. I'm just saying sometimes the doctors then decided it would be prudent to transfer Michael to the hospital of Ipswich, famed for many things, nothing that I know of.
Not the bones of the innocent.
But in this case, we know, which was far better equipped to deal with Johnson's injuries and apparent psychological trauma.
Well, this is good. They're getting him the health care that he needs for the condition
Or
that he's suffering
trying.
from.
Or
Trying.
is the Felixstowe mini hospital so deeply in cahoots with the demon that one good doctor's like, I want this one to live. He doesn't stay the night and therefore give up his soul.
I
Get this
like
man
it.
to Ipswich.
And he gets,
Oh, maybe.
yeah.
Ipswich goeth.
He had
has-
a change of heart and
yeah,
tried to
Yeah, do it. Okay, well, I like
save
that
a
too.
life.
I like that too.
The following day, Michael recovered his senses, and when his friends came to visit, he took them aside and, with what must assume were hushed and frightened tones, told them of his harrowing encounter in the woods next to Walton Avenue.
Okay.
Okay.
Michael claimed that when he abruptly got out of the car the night before, he had been compelled to do so by an unknown quote-unquote force. So not just needing to pee, a compelling unknown force.
compelling
Say
pee?
the power of Christ.
Oh, compelleth thee.
Possibly.
Or the power of the
That's
the
the
law.
only thing I know that can compel you.
Nah, the power of the Satan, the Dark Lord, dude.
It's just not in the movies.
It's in some movies. It's in Filipino movies.
It's not yelled at somebody
The killing
that
of
says
Satan.
the power of
Satan.
Satan compels you.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Come on.
Maybe we should make that a thing every day.
This force insisted that he go into the woods, regardless of its origin.
Okay, maybe it's Satan.
Maybe. It's the woods.
See? There you go.
fuck.
Unable to
All right.
resist these orders or explain to his friends his motivation for doing so, he walked into the tree-lined darkness. Michael was then convinced to share the story with his doctors and told his friends and physicians how, despite his attempts at resistance, he had been forced to walk into the forest, although he was unable to recall exactly how far, wherein he encountered a being that he described as a humanoid with large, sloping eyes that were glowing in the darkness. Not real woke, but hey, it's 65 and it's Mike, so we're just going to let it slide. He's got a traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
He further asserted that the odd creature was not only glowing in the darkness, but actually engulfed in what appeared to the eyewitness to be undulating orange flames.
So is it the Human Torch?
It is the Human Torch. It is
Okay, so he saw Johnny
150%.
Storm.
You saw Johnny Storm. Okay, all right, cool.
Does anyone know when that was first written? It had to be around that time. Like, I
In the
know
s-
Fantastic
no.
Four goes back to, is it mid or late 60s?
No, Human Torch is...
Early 60s?
Is even before that because it was when he was like a robot.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
The early Namor Human Torch from like
way back in the day.
proto-Marvel.
Yeah, way back in the day.
All right, so maybe we're talking about comic book reading fan, or maybe it's something else.
This is not the only comic book tie-in that we've had before with a podcast. Good sir.
Fair enough. I don't know what you're talking about.
Lace your bones with metal.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Be your own
We're supposed to remember.
Be your own Wolverine, Rob.
So this fucking thing is just slathered in flames. Obviously, it's not hurting him. At which point, Michael passed out cold. Just dead up cold. He says he saw this thing. First, he saw the big sloping glowing eyes. Then he saw the full glowing body. So the fact that he saw glowing eyes first and then notes that the body's completely on fire indicates to me that maybe it was eyes
weird.
and then sort of like a Johnny Storm
Like
flame
it
on.
flamed on, yeah.
Because otherwise you think, I saw a fire in the woods. The fire looked vaguely
you
the shape of
wouldn't-
a guy.
yeah.
The fire had eyes.
And then the fire turned and looked towards me.
Yeah.
But he didn't say that. He saw the eyes first.
saw eyes first.
The eyes were glowing. So much like, the demon on which the bones of the innocent are built and created
go.
Felixstowe Hospital, maybe this entity, whatever it is like a living nightlight, the embodiment of fucking forest fire, or who knows what.
Forest
But it
spirit.
seems like he ignited in front of him, and the shock of said
Made him pass
ignition made him pass out. But the thing is, he didn't completely pass out because he was still able to stumble the fuck back to the road.
Yeah.
It's just he has no memory from the moment he blacked out until the next day at the hospital.
Right.
Not talking to the doctors the night before, hence the amnesia.
All right.
Now, a lot of our listeners are going to think, understandably, was there hypnotic regression? We all know that's a real shady subject, but at least it's some way to probe into missing time, because that smacks of something happened, you didn't know what it was. Not a lot, because he didn't have a lot of time, because in all the time the super courageous Jeff and Mavis were in the car shouting.
I'm trying to...
It's still probably only 10 or 15 minutes.
put it together. It doesn't really say. Like, it seems like he immediately walked in and then saw this thing, but then like they saw a thing in the sky.
Right.
And then they got worried for their friend.
It seems that happened
so
pretty quickly,
was this
though.
thing already there before that they saw the thing? Are these two
Oh,
separate
I see what
things?
you're saying.
Are these the same thing? Like,
Yeah.
there's no. It's hard to really.
If it was the same
piece
thing,
that
like
together.
if it pieced out and just went skyward, then yeah.
Well,
Could be.
here's the thing. I mean, people have invariably associated this, because even though Chris is absolutely right, and we have to point this out, there's no guarantee Flamey McFlamerton in the forest has anything to do with flying orange egg.
Could be completely separate, yeah.
But two really bizarre entities or a bizarre entity and a bizarre object in the same geographical and temporal place begs coincidence.
I mean, if it's a fire alien and it happens as a fire ship,
Or just an orange glowing shrimp.
or it's the same.
Shrimp.
They're the same thing.
yeah, or it could be the same
If you
thing.
see something that's an oval,
Right.
then you're not seeing 3 dimensions. You're seeing
Oh,
2.
so wait, what
Yeah,
you're suggesting
yeah.
is maybe a fully flaming entity in the sky,
Sure, why not?
burning so brightly that it creates an oval illusion in the the mind's
Well,
eye
yeah,
and the
no,
physical eye,
I could see that, yeah.
and that went behind into the woods
Like a star, yeah.
And as this thing was going down, taking a piss, Mike Johnson's just fucking draining the weasel, doing his
Yeah.
thing, and suddenly glowing eyes, and it starts looking at him.
Yeah.
So maybe just flat up entity, no object.
That's what I mean. It's I could
Yeah,
just.
it's just there.
That's
floating,
it's
flying,
certainly
whatever.
plausible.
All
I
right.
mean,
Cool.
no more or less plausible than a glowing orange UFO vehicle.
Right.
It's interesting. All right, let's wrap this up and we'll bust this out. And I'm going to be a little redundant here, but en masse alien abductions being a thing of the future, it is unclear whether anyone may have suggested the possibility of hypnotic regression to Mr. Johnson at any point at that time or thereafter. But if he has undergone the process, it has been kept under wraps. So basically, if anyone ever suggested it to him, in the 80s or 90s when that shit was in vogue and he went through it, I'm not aware of it. That's all I can basically say. Nevertheless, Michael's friends, who had bore witness to the fiery egg-shaped UFO with their own eyes, believed their buddy and knew all too well that something strange and terrifying had transpired in the woods near Walton Avenue that gloomy night. Whether or not this creature was a UFO pilot, a demonic entity, or something even less explicable, the burn scars on Michael Johnson's neck serve as a testament to the reality of this truly bizarre event. Now, as to the nature of the reality of this, that's what we're for. Let's try to fucking figure this out.
All right. So,
Michael Jackson, Pepsi commercial.
That's
84.
Oh, Jesus, man.
I wasn't
Too
even.
soon?
I wasn't
Too
even.
soon?
Yeah, too tsunami. I wasn't even gonna make the joke, and then you went and you made it.
Richard Pryor, come on, we can go on and on.
Oh, jeez.
All right,
So
all that aside.
having the fire dude and then seeing the thing in the sky. Obviously, I think we're gonna have to just connect those. I think we're gonna have to do that because
Yeah, I think that goes beyond
too,
the simple human need to connect things, and it's like, if they're not related, that's an astonishing parallel.
So let's start with what could this have been? Possibly a love triangle gone wrong.
All right,
Really? Wait a minute.
So could have been.
Wait.
Could have been.
But how do you get to that? How do you get to the dude in the forest seeing what he saw?
Well,
I
No,
think Mark's talking about the situation all the way up until the point where Mike gets out of the car.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you're just trying to establish the mood.
Or I mean, if Jeff is interested in Mavis and she's also interested in him, but maybe they've got something going on with the guy. Maybe they both conspired to
make him feel like they're trying to gaslight
They cast
Mike.
the spell?
No, I mean
They tried to summon a fire elemental?
They could have very well, because they saw the UFO. So I'm just trying to turn this into something very like.
Or do you think
page
do you think they
6-ish.
dosed him and then tried to
I was
cover it
thinking
up?
maybe they tried to attack him or something in the woods to get rid of him. But I guess there really isn't any evidence for that. I just really want to make this kind of sexy to begin with, but I don't think there's a way to do it. So I'm going to recant my statement.
Don't recant.
The only way to
Lay
do
it
it is
out.
if he's like, I got to take a piss, and then they're in the car and they're like, get the spell book.
Yeah, or
And they
just,
summon
Or the flaming
or-
fucking dummy.
yeah, or
and they
just
cast it.
attack
And they
him.
cast it.
Attack him with a flashlight or something. Just hit him.
I thought you meant they were using a flashlight to emulate a burning man
Oh
in the woods.
no,
too.
no!
You just threw me off.
You got a flashlight and just smash him with it or something.
To what end?
But how do you get? He got burns.
There's something to kill him. Well,
And then why
That's
would they
true,
take him
they
to the
did,
hospital
yeah.
if they wanted to kill him? I mean,
I
yes,
think
Felixstowe Hospital isn't the highest grade,
Oh,
cutting
yeah.
edge medical
Dude.
facility, but it's close.
I guess though, if they were to attack him, he would know.
Oh man, I think you are on the wrong bus.
Yeah, no, I am. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop this train.
Full reverse.
Reverse. What could this have possibly
Well,
been?
there's nothing flaming in nature that's alive that we know of.
There isn't. So
Well, Phoenix. I mean, come on.
yeah, but I don't think that really counts. We go
fair.
kind of Phoenix.
Never a Phoenix
so,
attack.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all right. The whole fiery thing is too weird. Plus, you got the thing in the sky with the orange. Okay, maybe we should start with: do we think that this is demonic or extraterrestrial or paranormal? Well, I guess it would be demonic. There's nothing to really besides fire is the only demonic.
Here's the thing. I don't know their
Well,
ages.
even that's not necessarily.
In some ways, it's easy to assume they're teens.
Okay.
Not because I didn't cruise around uselessly in my 20s, because I absolutely did, probably in my 30s too. I've definitely fucked around in a car, killing time with friends many times, but that seems to be something, especially in the 60s, that was, if not not exclusively, then primarily the domain of teens.
Right.
So just for shits and giggles, let's assume they're teens.
All right, cool.
Most poltergeist activity surrounds post-pubescent and pubescent females,
Right.
Women that are going through psychological and physical
So this
changes
is like a,
that help either connect them with the paranormal, or some people think psychically manifest paranormal events. I'm not saying I don't necessarily believe in either camp, but it's irrefutable that there is a connection.
So she's like a portable poltergeist.
Well, if she is a young girl with her heart torn twixt two men,
geez.
Jeff
Wait a
and
minute.
Michael.
Is this going back to my possibility of a love triangle that everyone scoffed at, and I had to reverse my train?
I never give up on you, Mark.
Thank you.
Never.
Because Chris sure as hell does.
That's not true at all.
Yeah.
It's just tough love.
He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Mark's shit. He's the
Yeah,
worst.
I don't think it's a poltergeist.
I'm just saying we got to throw it out there.
That is an interesting thing, though. But I mean,
Is
I
it?
guess we're going to Carrie Land or Firestarter.
Well, she might not want Michael to be hurt. It
Well, that's
might not be
different.
anything.
She was a
But
telekinetic.
if she's got like a is it telekinesis or what's the
Well, Carrie definitely was.
Well,
telekinetic,
Carrie is
right?
telekinetic. What attracts poltergeists? They don't know. Is it a paranormal force that is attracted
If she was
towards
so-
young women?
if she
or
was
is
so-
it young women being able to activate a force in nature because of the turmoil going on in their bodies?
But if she was so
That's
in
unclear.
love with Jeff and Mike's taking a leak and she's like, I need Jeff, I need to get Mike out of here, and all of a
Or
sudden she fire starts
she's
him.
so in love with Mike and can't stand Jeff and doesn't want to be alone in the car with Jeff, so she must summon Mike back from the forest. What to do? Fire demon terrifies him back to the car.
Yeah, that goes
is
back
a
to the spell book
lot.
I said.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Everything's a lot.
That's the way it is
Everything's
to go.
a
Here's the
lot.
thing.
You can just be like, Jeff, stay in the car. Mike,
I don't think
hurry the fuck
any
up.
of it that is.
That's all you
there-
gotta do.
There's no indication of there's
No,
turmoil
there-
between.
there
There's just
isn't.
three
I know.
people.
Listen, we're just pissing in the wind. The fact is, it's a UFO. It's an unclassified being, and
Okay.
it's a seeming psychic connection. The only one that's established in terms of eyewitness reports is Michael hearing or sensing
He's being
a calling
compelled.
into the woods.
That-
It's not a need to piss. It's not a need to bail.
You're-
It's just, I have to go into the woods because I am compelled to do so.
You're bringing it back though to this maybe being something paranormal. Where if it's with, well, I guess I don't.
Well,
have
the
any
bones of
evidence
the
for that.
innocent.
Yeah, bones of the innocent.
I mean,
Well, nothing.
who knows what kind of
was
old rituals
done?
were happening in
starts
the
with-
British forest in times of yore?
it starts with hell or space and ends with the bones of the innocent. That's just the math.
That isn't the math.
It's demon. It's
I'll give you some math right now. Why?
All right.
If it's any, why lure just this guy? What was special about this guy? If it is something else, why not
Maybe
just,
he was just
show
a-
up in the fucking road and do
Right.
whatever they did?
It could just be
Like-
proximity. Maybe he was the closest.
Well, no,
No.
he got a call. He got
He
a
was
call
called out of the
into
car.
the woods.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he
I'm
wasn't-
saying is where he's sitting in the car and the driver's
So
side.
you're
maybe
literally
he's
saying
just
a
the
matter
closest.
of inches?
I know, like 12 inches
I
was
know,
like the
maybe
difference.
Who got summoned?
Although, if this being is in the woods and it was looking at the car, the first person it would probably see would be the driver. If you think about how
Yeah, but
how
he wasn't
sit in the
driving. I
car-
think Mike was driving. Or not Mike was driving. I think Jeff was driving.
Oh, well, he's in the passenger seat.
Hi.
Okay, well if that's the case, then no, I guess that wouldn't work out.
Dude,
So-
no, I mean, no, it doesn't hinge on that. What you're saying doesn't hinge on it.
No,
I
no,
really
no,
don't think
I-
it's
I'm
the
not
first
saying
thing.
it-
This fucking elemental that lives in the forest of fucking Waterloo or whatever, Waltonville, is the first thing I lock eyes on. I will compel to meet.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that maybe that's just the reason why I called him, is that I just happened to see him and go, him.
But why call him only to terrify him to the point of no consciousness, unless there was a message, and that's again where, shady as it is, hypnosis could have come into handy.
That's true.
Because it's like you see the eyes, you're summoned. There's no doubt there's if you're going to believe what happened. And of course we can speculate that it's
Right.
a raft of shit. But if you're going to believe what happened, Mike got summoned for some reason.
In the woods.
And
He
then
was
saw
compelled by
glowing
a
eyes,
force, yeah.
a full glowing body, burning man, extra, and then nothing.
No.
So what would be the point of that? If it's an extraterrestrial interaction, a demonic interaction, or a paranormal elemental interaction,
It's
what
obviously
makes sense
its,
there?
Its
Yeah, I
attention
don't
is
know.
obviously directed towards Michael. So I guess what would compel it to Michael? What's gonna?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Why him?
What's it gonna cause to go to him?
And what was the point of the whole thing? Like, if they didn't
Yeah,
find
huh.
anything in him or anything wrong except some
I mean,
burns,
Rob's idea
what was
of
the point?
Mavis trying of either being in love with Michael or trying to get rid of him, the love triangle is a possibility. But I guess unless
well-
maybe it's just he just was the lucky guy to get chosen for whatever purpose.
Lucky.
I mean, I can't think of any. There's nothing else evidence-wise that we have, and he's not a part of the
Well,
UFO club of whatever.
There's nothing evidence-wise
Yeah,
that we
ever-
really
yeah,
have.
at all. Right.
But one thing I will say, unless it is a triptych conspiracy, it really smacks that something happened, because Michael claims that there was a flaming monstrosity in the woods.
Totally.
Mavis and Jeff say there's a fucking flying, glowing egg.
Right.
That was independent of each other. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't see the flaming dude, and by all accounts, Michael didn't see the UFO.
Yeah.
So to both report some sort of, bizarre, unnatural phenomenon.
Huh.
It seems like if it was a mass conspiracy, they would have found a way to support each other better.
With the contusion behind his ear.
The old flashlight to the noggin. I know where you're going.
Maybe, but he has burn marks around his neck. So if they were to hit him with him in the head with something, what would you be able to hit him with that would cause a burn besides like an old school like oil lantern, which wouldn't make any sense? Because how the hell would you hit someone in the head?
I don't
with
know.
that?
They ripped off a hot
It'd just be
muffler
like,
and just fucking
ding.
sizzled his neck for a bit.
Yeah, there you go.
The best part about this is, to me, this is It's a phenomenal opening chapter for a fucking Hardy Boys mystery.
Oh, sure.
It is.
It's a fire demon in an old British woods. It's
But then
UFO
it turns into
flying
a
above.
love triangle.
Burns on his
Yeah,
neck.
I know.
I don't know why.
Old man with a lantern whips you about the head and
Maybe
neck.
okay, but maybe we're pushing, and when I say we're pushing, I mean I'm pushing. Maybe I'm pushing too hard on the true crime angle of this. Maybe that's my
I don't
fault.
think that's what's going on.
That's where Mark.
You're
went
looking for the
wrong.
human angle.
I am. So
which
let's,
I don't think is
so
there.
let's go to the classic Heller space.
Why limit it? Why does it have to be that?
Well, I mean, we're not by saying Heller space. We're not limiting
actually,
anything.
let me take that back. Guy on fire in the woods in a UFO.
Yeah.
It's literally Heller space.
It's literally Heller space.
There is no other
there's
option.
nothing else.
I take my umbrage back.
So
I fully inhale that.
you can back your train up because I got to back my train
I
up.
didn't. You know what?
Well, no,
I
because
I'm not comfortable
elementals
with that
can
analogy.
be considered
Too
the
many tracks. Fucking too many trains.
whatever
Too much going on.
folk.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of elementals.
Right.
If he's burned in the back of his neck, it could just be this thing was
Something's
trying
there.
to approach him. It's like, oh fuck, I forgot people are flammable. Change form.
Yeah.
Form of wood.
So you think like he was gonna say something? Dude passed out from whatever fear, and he was gonna go to help him, and he got near him, and so if he fell flat down,
Yeah.
Right.
that's how he got the burns on his neck.
It's a possibility.
And it's like, well, no, but I think I'm gonna kill him.
Like,
So
oh
never
no,
mind.
he's sizzling. Oh no.
I mean,
human bacon.
This
oh,
could be
no.
the good dude of the woods. This fucking ethereal
Dude
from a
of the
time
woods.
immemorial.
the fire Samaritan.
And he just forgets. Fire Samaritans
American-
are
Jerry
often come in
Garcia.
handy.
Yeah.
All right? You know, you never know when you need a Fire
Jesus
Samaritan.
Christ, that's the good dude in the woods, man. I do like that though. It's kind of fuzzy. Hey guys, just me, Fire Bear.
You mean the good man of the woods?
Yeah, you good
oh, the
sir.
Fire Samaritan.
Yeah,
I've
the
heard
Fire
that.
Samaritan. Everyone knows the
Samaritan,
Fire
yeah.
Samaritan. Jesus, were you on Walton Ave? Yes.
You know, or we can just kind of flip that and twist it a little bit and say this thing was trying to abduct and or kill him.
If he was, he did a real piss poor
Yeah.
job.
If you're on
Well, he
fire
took off.
and you can't,
Well, all right. If you're stumbling away in blackout terror after you've already been hypnotized at a distance and
Right.
fucking said fire creature can't abduct you into his UFO, then that thing is piss poor at its job.
That's true.
Absolutely shitbag.
All right, let's close it out, Robert.
Well, it's clearly a Fire Samaritan.
Yeah,
I've got to
I'm
give
going
Chris
with
mad
Fire
props on this.
Samaritan.
When you're in the woods,
Are you going with it too?
I'm the one who brought it up. What are you talking about? That was my theory.
I thought you would bail with it and just stick Rob with it, and then like you just bail on
What
him.
just
I don't
makes
bail
sense
on my own stuff.
is when
I don't
someone's
know,
alone
maybe,
in the woods
you know,
and
change
it's
the pace.
dark. Mike didn't have a flashlight. He didn't have a canteen or food. What does the Fire Samaritan do? Like, psst, hey, dude, see you around. It's not that scary.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize he looks terrifying.
I mean,
he
we-
thinks he's just making the darkness bright so you can enjoy your
Yeah.
time.
We didn't really cover the UFO angle because there's just not. Besides seeing the object in the sky, there isn't anything else. But the object was also seen on the ground, allegedly.
We did cover it. Chris covered it again.
All right,
and that he
but-
was flaming on extra hot and you just couldn't see a humanoid form.
Okay, cool.
It was just an orange egg.
Yeah, well, I think if you're just fire, you could probably be whatever you
Maybe
need to
it
be.
lives in a volcano where Fire Samaritans all come from, of course, and
Right.
occasionally just goes to
So-
non-volcanic countries to just try to get on a level
We
with
probably
people.
should, before we close this out, we probably should bring up that maybe something had happened. They were partying. He got injured. They got scared that they were going to get in trouble. So this just turned into a, oh, shit, we need to cover our tracks.
The reason I find that to be even more ludicrous than this already ludicrous story is this. If you fuck him up somehow and you've crossed a line and it's really Mavis's boyfriend and things got shady, you don't try to cover it up by saying he just spontaneously walked in the woods, then stumbled out, and in the meantime we saw a UFO, and then hope the victim saw a goddamn fire
All
demon.
right, you got me. Fine. It's a fucking Fire Samaritan. God damn it.
yeah, well,
Son of a bitch. Well, there you go.
Finally, consensus.
We all really going to go Fire Samaritan?
It might just be a goddamn alien who
That's
can
good.
just do different. Maybe it wasn't even on fire. Maybe it looked like fire. Maybe
Is there-
maybe
Well,
its
sure.
skin
I
just
mean,
glows and
is the human
undulates.
torch
I
normal
would
form for
say
an
that,
alien?
but like if dude has burns, then that's evidence.
True.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
you know, unfortunately,
Unless he's just a
what we
massive
don't
hot
have
lamp alien.
is true.
Jesus Christ.
We don't have a burn spot in the woods that we know of.
The planet of floodlights.
Jesus Christ.
1,000-watt floodlights.
Planet Klieg light.
Nobody can look
Oh,
at
that
each
would be
other.
horrible.
It's all
Show up, we're
bright.
like, fuck. Turn it off.
Why are we born like this?
Welcome to the planet of floodlights. Like, fuck you. Your planet
Oh,
sucks.
this blows.
Your planet's the fucking worst.
Do not be hung over here.
Oh, God.
God damn it. This
All
guy
right.
this guy is tough.
Yeah,
I
he
want,
is.
with the obvious addition of a UFO, you want to say extraterrestrial. That's my instinct.
Right.
But everything about it smacks of something elemental or paranormal or like baseline entities that were here from a time before time.
The Human Torch is not a normal.
That's a comic book character,
Yeah,
though.
but I'm saying the form of the Human Torch is not a normal form that we hear for alien races or anything.
No,
like
you're
that.
right. You're
They're
absolutely
not
right.
like the Nordics, the fire people. Like, this doesn't happen.
It's not as common as like Reptoid,
Yeah,
Gray.
you don't really hear that. Not that that's evidence, but you don't ever really hear of anyone describing aliens as being like people that are on fire.
No, not usually.
There's like the
Again, the Human
Truth,
Torch.
which is again, I think that's a volcano god. There are flaming entities, but all of them are like ancient gods, usually living in either volcanoes
If there's a
or something
Palladian
like that.
that's on fire, it's probably dead and it was in a crash.
That's true.
There you go.
That is true.
Took you a
Alright.
second, didn't it?
Yeah.
You went Palladian. Fuck, he went there. He really fucking went there. Asshole.
Maybe it was just a victim of
It ain't a fucking Nordic,
spontaneous
dude.
human combustion that was scrambling for help and terrified a young, drunken
How
Michael
did they get
Johnson.
that high in the sky? What did they have?
I'm just talking about the flaming guy in the woods. Maybe
Yeah.
everyone
Okay.
just saw a UFO.
Okay.
Yeah,
Spontaneous
I
human
see.
combustion.
So there was
victim,
a UFO
3 random
spotted,
teens.
and then some
Yeah.
dude in the woods is just like poof, spontaneous.
Yeah.
Coincidences do happen.
Yeah.
They do. All right.
Yeah, dude, crop circles.
Really?
You see those glowing
Crop
lights,
circles?
man? They happen
Oh,
before a
man.
combustion. You see the ag, you die. Sorry, I lost my breath for a
What
minute.
happened? Oh my god!
I lost my breath.
Oh shit!
All right, cool. So there you have it.
Fire Samaritan.
What can send? We came to the Fire
That's
Samaritan.
fire. It has to be. What
Are we
else
gonna
can it
have
be?
to make a Fire Samaritan shirt now?
I can see it.
Why not?
Just
can see
same
it.
thing. Fire Samaritan.
Dude, if I'm cold and
Man.
dark and alone, I want a Fire Samaritan to come and
Yeah.
light
All
my
right.
way.
All
Why would you
there
not?
have it.
Keep me up, light my way.
Yeah.
The Fire Samaritan code.
Oh, that's a great shirt or a patch. Actually, that'd be a sweet patch. Just a dude on fire.
Jiminy merch.
Oh,
Heat
he
me
does the
up.
Cub Scout. He's like,
Heat me up. Light
I
my way.
believe. I will defend.
Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, cool. So there you have it. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Kryptonaut Podcast. As always, social medias, Instagram, Twitters, Facebooks. Follow us. Hit us up there. The ratings and reviews are always appreciated. The iTunes, the Apple Podcast apps helps out a lot. As mentioned in the beginning of the show, be sure to check the description of this podcast for the link to Nick Littlefield's Etsy shop. That's I Love Pixels on Instagram for the 3D printed space brains of Palos Verde, and use the promotion code HAMMERPANTS HAMMERPANTS for 20% off the order, and that is good to the end of December. So check that out. Do that. Closing thoughts, guys. Anything?
You never really can rule out magic either.
It's true. You can't.
Part of it may be because it's England,
Well,
a land of lore and
Oh.
merlins
Well, yeah,
and
yeah,
ancient
summonings.
old-timey summonings. Exactly.
So maybe my love triangle actually was a magic triangle of love.
An extraterrestrial infused, elemental foraged love triangle of sorcery.
I like it, Chris.
I still think it's Fire Samaritan.
That's fair.
All right, you know what? If you are nothing, you are solid in your decision.
Yeah, no, I'm not
sir.
budging. It's I can
All
see
right.
the smiley face. It's
Sex
trying.
and fire.
It's trying.
Good Lord.
Oh shit, we'll be talking to you.
God damn it.
It tries when it can't. Because it's on fire.
Oh, best foot forward.
All right, cool. So thank you for sticking around for the ratings and reviews. And again, thank you all for leaving those ratings and reviews. The 200 mark is pretty awesome.
It is
Dope.
dope as
The
fuck.
dope.
It's pretty sweet. So
Dope
let's
as a
get...
pope on a rope.
All right, so our first review is coming to us from the best podcast around, 5 stars from Jericho at 33. I listen to an eclectic mix of podcasts, but Kryptonaut is my favorite. I have always had an obsession with cryptozoology. The hosts approach the often very outlandish story with such enthusiasm and humor. It is much easier to honestly consider the topic than any other podcast I have found. I would love to hang out around a campfire with these guys.
Well,
All right, dude, get a campfire
especially
and
since it's,
give us
it's pretty easy
cookies
access.
and some beer, and we'll fucking talk.
And since it's so cold out, a campfire actually would
And they're
probably
like
be pretty
swimwear,
sweet.
but you know what? Thank you for that sweet review.
Thank you very much there, Jericho at 33. Continuing on with great podcast, 5 stars, Dark Sloth Demon.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Wow. Best podcast for anyone looking for a friendly, typical, non-biased opinion on cryptos and the unknown. This podcast will leave you feeling like you're sitting in the chair next to these guys in their discussion.
Well, good.
Awesome. I like that. And I like that it's
Intention
non-biased.
fulfilled.
Exactly.
Non-biased is good. I like that. Because I think that we give every possibility a breath of air, even if it's a
We
fire or
give every
Samaritan.
asinine theory that occurs to us, Aaron.
Exactly. All right, moving on here. Awesome driving buddies, 5-star Chef T-Bone. Oh,
Chef T-Bone.
If you're a chef, man, let us know what's up.
Oh, send us
Here
some
we go.
steaks.
All right, starting off with, I don't know why it has taken me so long to write a review for this podcast. I have a long daily commute to work and listen to a lot of different shows, but this is the one show that I will always turn on first when a new episode arises. I have been fascinated by cryptids, aliens, and real-life mysteries since I can remember. The topics covered in this show are some of the most obscure I've ever encountered. Highly recommended. Thanks from the Mothman's backyard.
Snap.
Oh,
Thank
right.
you, dude.
Okay, this is going to be our last one. Easily the best podcast. 5 stars from
Uh-oh.
Cody Vick. He's
Oh,
back. He
yeah?
did it. He's back.
Oh, gee. All right.
Cody did it. All right.
Oh, man.
Here we go. The guys are personable and funny. The topics of discussion are always interesting and appeal to the person who always is wondering what else may be out there. The bearded trio are fun to listen to as they banter about possibilities and theories, and have honestly made me laugh verbally whilst in the middle of a store or quiet cafe. Do yourself a favor and start with episode 1 and just go from there. Every single episode is a gem. Cheers, lads. Oh,
All
Cody
right.
Vick.
Thank you, Cody.
I'm pretty sure this is the same Cody Vick I think he left us a review back in like episode like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's-
sure.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same dude. Unless there's another Cody Vick.
Is this
If-
Cody Vickers or
Is it-
Vic?
Cody Vick, but I'm assuming it's Cody Vickers.
I just don't know.
All right, Cody. I know that you're out there listening, so let us know because this
Are you
is
the same
You're
Cody?
gonna end up being an episode. It's gonna be episode 60. Cody Vick. Which one is
Are you
he?
Vic or Vickers?
Are you Cody Vickers or Vickers? Yeah.
Then we'll get like a Colby Vike, and then we'll be all fucked up.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. So there you have it.
Thank
That
you,
is the-
everybody. You
Word.
fucking rule, and we love it, and we love you as much as you love us, but we don't know you as well. But if you had a podcast, we'd listen to it too.
Yeah, totally.
Jeez.
And yeah, thank you all for your ratings and reviews. It means a lot to us. Also, too, I want to send another thank you to everyone who bought some merch from us during our Black Friday.
Hell yeah.
And our Cyber Monday sales. Actually, we just did when we sat down tonight to record. We started going over some project details.
Oh, boy.
That Robert sent us, and we're coming up with some ideas for it. And we are really excited to announce the stuff to you
Pretty
guys. So
stoked.
hopefully in January we're going to be able to make an announcement on it. So there you have it. Thank you again, everyone, all of you out there, all of our listeners. We appreciate you all so very much. And
You're the fucking best,
we'll
guys.
be talking
You're
to
the
you
best
soon.
around.
Nothing's
Nothing's
ever
going
going
to
to take you
ever
down.
keep it down. You're the best
Bam.
around.
No, I'm just
No one else is
rocking.
going to sing it?
No.
No, that's it. So
I was leaving it up to you guys.
I'm sorry.